Hi guys, this is Bobby Rio, co-creator of Unlock Her Legs, and in today's video, I want to talk about something I think is really important, and that's how to control a girl's opinion of you. Now, a few months ago, you may or may not have seen this video, but Rob Judge and I released a video with the two of us sitting in front of a camera talking about 3 of the common mistakes that guys make. Now, when we filmed this, the camera was sort of shaky, and Rob and I looked really bad on camera. My hair had this, weird glow, and Rob looked like he had these, giant braces in his mouth, and our shirts looked all fuzzy and unstylish. My face looked all puffy, and we were using, a zoom on the camera, and it really just accentuated all of our flaws. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because people let us know. The video was getting hundreds of comments a week, and nearly half of them were guys making fun of our appearance or claiming we were gay or too ugly to be giving dating advice. And, it was funny because every day Rob and I would, Skype each other the harshest comments, and we'd laugh about it. The guy on the right looks like he has a Down syndrome. Rob looks like a meth head. These guys are clearly a couple child molesters. It wasn't fun on the ego. And here's the thing. The content of the video was really good. And the guys that can ignore our distorted appearances really found the video helpful. And that's why we didn't take this video down. Now, the reason I'm talking about this and the reason I'm telling that story is because, unfortunately, the lens that most guys were seeing us through didn't allow them to digest the content. They couldn't get the value out of the content because they were seeing me and Rob, because of our distorted appearance, through a certain lens. And this brings me to a very important topic that I want to talk about, and this is the idea of controlling the lens. And it's one of the things I teach in my Players Paradigm program, but I want to go over it here because I think it's something you really need to know about. See, the lens is the perception that other people see you through, whether it be guys, girls, just anybody. It's what they see you through. And it's one of the most important but least talked about aspects of dating advice. Because the fact is, the results you get with certain techniques is directly related to the lens you're being seen through. And what I mean by this is that your success will result a large part based on what the current perception a girl has of you. So, does she see you as a player? Does she see you as a nice guy? Does she see you as a shy or socially awkward guy? Has she ever seen you with attractive girls? Are your friends cool? Are you well-dressed, and do you seem to take pride in your appearance? Do you dress like you're socially clueless? I'm going to give you a simple example, but one that I've heard so many girls talk about, it's not even funny. If you walk up to a girl at a bar and you're wearing a pair of dress shoes with white socks, she's going to immediately perceive you as socially clueless, whether it's true or not. Maybe you were just lazy that day and you threw a pair of white socks on. I've done it too, but the fact is, the majority of girls, if they notice that, they're going to immediately perceive you as being socially clueless. Something as simple as wearing white socks with dress shoes will completely change the lens you're being seen through. Here's another example. If a girl's scanning your online dating profile and in all the pictures you're with attractive people doing fun things, she's going to perceive that you're a fun, cool, social guy. Now, you can take that same guy and show him through a different lens, and a girl's opinion of him will change completely. Maybe you take that same guy and you put him a bunch of pictures where he's by himself, he looks sad, he's pictures of him in his parents' basement in a dingy house playing video games or something, and a girl's going to get a completely different perception of him. So what this means and why it's important and why I refer to it as controlling the lens, it means that your job is to determine the most favorable lens a woman can see you through. So how do you do this? Well, this is, like I said, it's something that I go very deep into in my Players Paradigm program. There's a link for that below, and it's $9. So, but in this video, I do want to give you a couple examples. So, first, dress like a guy who gets laid. So I'll fully admit, fashion's never been a strong point of mine. So what I would do is I usually try to find a guy I know who gets laid a lot, and I model his style. It's a very simple fix. Now, it shocks me how often guys dress like their grandmother picked out their clothes, and they expect to take home some hot, stylish chick. Hot, stylish chick wants to be with a guy who looks stylish. And as much as people may say things like, oh, looks or fashion aren't important, looks aren't important in terms of what your genetic composition of your face looks like, but how you present yourself is very important. Two, and this is very, very important, and this is something that I've been teaching in my Make Small Talk Sexy programs for years, is you gotta talk like a guy who gets laid. And this doesn't mean bragging about getting laid. It means speaking the same language as these guys. See, one of the great hidden benefits of flirting and teasing a girl is that when you do it right, they automatically assume that you get girls. Now, on the other hand, when you have boring, logical, dry conversations with a girl, she's going to quickly assume you're not that experienced and that you're not the kind of guy used to talking to a girl like her. So the third thing is act like a guy who gets laid. Back in college, I had this friend, Doug, and he was always juggling 3 or 4 hot girls that he was banging. And when Doug met a new girl, do you think he ever came across as needy or too available or too try-hard? No. Yet, for some reason, a lot of guys have no concept of how to play it cool with a girl in the beginning. So these are a few examples of controlling the lens that a girl's seeing you through. Other ways that you can do it are your Facebook profile, the guys that you hang out with, your body language, your job, your grooming, your shoes, your female friends, your car, your conversation topics, your interests and hobbies. These are all things that affect the lens in which a girl's going to see you through. And you should be making an effort to give yourself every advantage that you can. When you begin to understand that sometimes changing a girl's opinion of you is simply a matter of changing the lens she sees you through, an entirely new world opens up to you. And in our Unlock Her Legs program, one of the first things we have you do when you're running the scrambler on a girl is interrupt her pattern, and a lot of it has to do with changing her perception, changing her lens. Now, changing her lens is just one of 7 mindset shifts that I teach in the Player's Paradigm, and there's a link for that below. The Player's Paradigm it revolves around the concept that you need to think like a guy who gets girls. If you think like a player, you start to get laid like a player. You need to naturally make the same decisions that a guy would make, the kind of guy who gets laid would make a lot. You need to take one look at a woman and see the same opportunities as this guy does. You need to take advantage of the same tricks that he's been using his entire life. So what I did was I went out and I studied these guys, what they were doing, and I figured out that there were 7, I call them paradigm shifts that these guys have. And I put them into a program. Like I said, it's a $9 audio program. Don't let the low price fool you. It's a very powerful program, and the mindset shifts that you get in this program will last you your entire life and change the way you interact with women because you begin to think like these guys. These guys are masters at controlling their lens. The reason these guys do so well with women is because they know how to get an advantage before they even start talking to a girl by controlling all these elements that a lot of guys, even, we forget about. We forget that, having a pair of white socks on can totally change the way a girl views you, or that talking in a certain way can change the way a girl views you. So that's, like I said, that's one of the 7 paradigm shifts. There's a link for the program below. But keep in mind, you've got to be aware that a woman has a perception of you, and the more that you can control that perception, the more successful you're going to be.